WZR Radio starts now. You can call into the show at 724-444-7444 using call ID 30273#.
I'm coming up for air so I can check myself again, and I stand proven to the man but sheltered. Confidence
Now, here's your hosts, Ryan Clark and Jose Rivera.
What's going on, guys, and welcome to the February 3rd, 2009 edition of WZR Radio here on WZROnline.com and a bunch of other websites. I'm, as always, your host, Ryan Clark, and I'm going to be here with you for the next 2 hours talking WWE, TNA, UFC pay-per-view. Was this past Saturday night, and I was actually out in Las Vegas to cover that event for the website. You guys probably heard the archives that we had up on the website over the weekend. We did a pre-UFC 94 show and a post-UFC 94 show. So we kind of already talked about it there. So if you're a UFC fan, you can go over and listen to that. But nonetheless, I got some stories from Las Vegas that we're going to talk about, and lots of news and rumors while I was away. But before we get to any other stuff, I got to welcome in somebody that has been around wrestling for a long, long time. I've known him for a while. He actually runs some of his ads on my website, but he's going to be the new co-host of WZR Radio. Matt Boone is... He didn't really follow wrestling, and it was just a matter of time before I found a new co-host, somebody that followed wrestling and watches Raw, ECW, and SmackDown each week, and I found that guy, and he actually lives in Stamford, Connecticut, and his name is Jose Rivera. Jose, what's going on, man?
Nothing much. I appreciate the intro. Thank you. Hello, everyone. Appreciate the invitation to co-host the show.
Oh, it's awesome, man. It's awesome to have you here. I know I kind of sprung this on you last week, asked if you want to do the show, and it makes sense, man, because, I mean, like I said, you live up in Stamford, just a couple miles away from the Titan Towers up there, and I know, you got some family, and you got friends that are associated with WWE, so I know, you know your stuff, man,
I mean, I definitely have a rich history when it comes to WWE. I mean, it's been many years. I actually played with the softball team a couple of times last year, met the coach and among other friends. It's exciting. It's cool. Titan Tower is about maybe 10 minutes away from here. You won't catch me dead, of course, standing in front of the tower and see exactly who comes and goes. But Bill Watts, I think, was here sometime last week. So it's really cool. It's an awesome thing.
Yeah, that's awesome. Hey, I know you're in the live chat room right now, guys. You can get into the live chat at WZROnline.com/chat, man. See, the people love you, man. These people, I'm telling you, they're good people. They hated Boone, man. They hated Boone because he didn't follow wrestling, and every week they dreaded to have him on here. But nonetheless, we got you. And look at that chat room, bro, huh?
Appreciate the love, everyone. Appreciate the love. Thank you.
No doubt. So what are we going to do, man? We're going to take, like I said, we got the live chat room. It's WZROnline.com/chat. The live phone number to call in live. You can call up right now, and it'll put you in a queue, and we'll take your calls in the order that they are received. But the live phone number to call is 724-444-7444, and then the lady will come on and she'll ask you to enter a call ID, which is 30273 followed by the pound key, and then you'll be able to hear the show through your phone. And later on in hour number 2, we'll take a bunch of your live phone calls. Cause I got some news, man, but I want to take a lot of calls because, it's your first night, and let people get to know you, ask you questions, ask us questions.
That'd be awesome.
And you already broke out an exclusive. You said that Bill Watts was up there in Stanford last week, you believe. So, I mean, you're close. You're real close to where the action is at up in Stanford. And like I said, man, you watch Raw, ECW, SmackDown, all that stuff, pay-per-views on a weekly basis. So it's going to be a good time, man,
It's funny because I cannot remember, and this is God's honest truth, I cannot remember the last time that I've missed an episode of Monday Night Raw. I mean, I may have missed it on that Monday, but, the TiVos of the world, thank God, was introduced because it kind of conflicts a little bit with my 24. But, again, thank God for TiVos. I'll religiously sit there and watch this show. And I'm a wrestling fan, but I really adore wrestling in the business aspect of it. They're writing a TV show. They're developing characters, and they're generating ratings, and how those ratings are inputted into the system. In return, advertisers. I mean, that's kind of what I look at wrestling in my own personal level. Again, growing up into it, like I explained to you before, the studios are actually not in Titan Towers. They're actually about a half a mile. It's actually on Hamilton Avenue, which I've toured before. I was actually a guest at one time, or not a guest, but an audience member during Primetime Wrestling, which actually Roddy Piper came up to me and kissed my hat, which, by the way, got me a little upset because it was a Yankee hat, and he put his little lipstick makeup on the hat, his white hat. So it didn't go over too well with me, but it's all good, though.
No doubt. What else? Hey, actually, you said that you can't remember the last time you missed a Monday Night Raw. And it's funny you bring that up because last night was probably the first time that I've missed a Raw in, man, I couldn't even tell you.
Oh, baby, come on now.
I know. I was flying back from Vegas.
It's business.
I know, man. Vegas, I'll tell you what. Have you ever been to Vegas?
I've been to Vegas one time on a business trip, and I was only there for 3 days, and I think them 3 days were enough. But you know what they say, whatever happens in Vegas stays in Vegas.
Oh, it stays in Vegas, but man, I got to tell some stories here on WZR Radio. I got to get, man, it was crazy. It's like Disneyland for adults is the best way to explain it. I got there on Friday, the flight out, no problems with the flight, so that was good. It's a long flight though, man, because I flew down to Charlotte, and then from Charlotte to Vegas. I mean that flight is brutal, man. I'm not used to flying. You know what I mean? Maybe that's what it was, but whatever.
You're flying like 6-hour flight, and where you don't mind me asking, what airline did you take?
U.S. Airways, the one. You know what's funny?
Great.
You know what's funny? It's not really funny, but remember the plane crash a couple weeks ago? The one that landed in the Hudson River. Yeah, that one. It was that was actually a U.S. Airways flight that was bound for Charlotte. And I mean, I didn't leave from LaGuardia, but I did take a U.S. Airways flight from Albany to Charlotte. So it was kind of, a couple weeks before I left, I'm kind of thinking, I thought, oh shit, man, you know what I mean?
All right, well, let's see what's going to happen here. But he landed in the water, which thank God everyone was safe and stuff like that. So it's it's kind of odd, I guess, if you're driving down the West Side Highway and you're seeing a plane land in the water.
Yeah, right. I mean, that's crazy. I still can't figure out. How that plane, once it hit the water. I mean, planes weigh a lot, man. I mean, it just kind of floated. You know what I mean? I thought it was just going to go straight to the bottom, especially when they opened the emergency doors there. But I didn't have any plane crashes, man. And I'm back here. So I got there.
You had another crash of another kind, though.
Yeah. Well, we got there. I got there on Friday night, and it was funny, man. We went to see Chris Angel, who's awesome, man. He's I've never watched his show, the show that he's got. I think it's on A&E every Wednesday, I believe. But we went to his show, and that was, I mean, how he does some of the stuff that he does is
it's amazing.
Yeah,
it's crazy. You sit there and you're like,
nuts.
wait a minute, how is this real? I mean, is this all? I mean, it's all magical and illusionals and stuff like that, and it's just like, wow, you're saying to yourself, is this really happening? What's going on here?
Well, the only thing about it is they didn't allow cameras into the arena. So I'm thinking it's got to have something to do with the lights, how he makes all this stuff happen. Because obviously they didn't want flash cameras in there, and really strict. If you had a cell phone out, a guy would be standing. There was like a guy at the end of each row who was assigned to look down the rows to make sure that no one had a camera or no one had a cell phone out that was going to interfere with anything. So I think it has to do with the lights, but
I'm sure the light, there's some mirrors there as well that they, flash photography. If there's a mirror on the right-hand side, obviously you'll see that. But those bodyguards are standing there just like how those bodyguards stand at the WWE events, which is kind of funny when you see, Hogan suck sign or another sign that's not really appropriate for TV, and they come in and just grab it in 2 seconds and just keep on walking.
Yeah, grab it and then just tear it apart, man, like it's nothing.
Tear it apart, and you just you're lucky you're still here watching the show.
Yep, no doubt. So we went through Chris Angel. That was an awesome show. So we're coming back from Chris Angel. I'll just tell you one quick story, and then I know you guys really don't care. You want us to talk about wrestling, but we were coming back from Chris Angel, and we're walking over like a boardwalk type thing, and the guy was driving. It was like, I know you got a sporty car, right?
ISF. So
no doubt.
pretty
I don't know. I'm not good with car names, but this guy, it was a bright yellow car and it had the rims. It was all decked out. You know what I mean? He was stopped at a red light, and for some reason, I don't know why, man, just went and got clipped. Nailed. This guy came and just popped his driver's side door. Like, oh man. So, anyways. The guy, the door's pushed in, and you see the guy trying to squeeze through the door to try to get out of the car, right? So he squeezes through the door and then just takes off running. And I'm like, we don't, up here in Albany, New York, that would be top story on the news for 2 weeks straight. You know what I mean? So this guy, and then they had pedestrians, a couple pedestrians that were out there tackled the guy, and we were all drunk by this point. We went to Chris Angel and we're yelling off the bridge, "Yeah, buddy, get him!" Let
me ask you, the guy didn't look like Nick Hogan, right? I just want to make sure. I don't want
no,
or anything like that. Okay, all right, okay.
Not Nick Hogan.
Okay, I want to make sure, yellow car, driving fast, hitting, and then running. I just want to clarify. That's all.
It could have been. No, it wasn't him for sure. But no doubt, I know where you're going with that, man. What else? Okay, what else? So Vegas is okay. Oh, UFC was awesome on Saturday night. I know you don't follow UFC.
I really, I got nothing wrong with the sport, and I admire, the guys, and in other words, I'm just kind of telling you, no, I really don't bother watching the show. It's a cool, I don't sit there and watch it religiously, let's say like the WWE, but, from channel surfing and stuff like that whenever I ever get a chance. And if I come upon to it, I got nothing wrong seeing two guys beat up each other in real life inside of a cage. I got nothing wrong with that.
Oh, no doubt. And that the thing about it, man, is UFC. Boone's the one that got me into UFC. He said, man, you got to watch this stuff. This is the new thing. It's taken off. And sure enough, man, this pay-per-view that I went to was BJ Penn versus George St. Pierre, and they are predicting that this is supposed to be the highest-rated pay-per-view, UFC pay-per-view, in their history, which was a huge event. The main event itself lived up to the hype. An awesome fight. BJ Penn, actually, his corner threw in a towel between the fourth and fifth rounds, but it was an ass whooping, man. But just to be inside that arena, to be there live, and it's like when you hear him, when you hear him hit. It's a punch to the face, and you can hear a slap throughout the arena, and you're thinking to yourself, "Damn, man!" You can't really explain.
I'm lucky I'm sitting here and not over there.
Yeah, no doubt. It was crazy, man. It was one of the best, actually the best live event that I've ever been to. Just awesome. Totally different crowd than wrestling fans. It was just. When you go to wrestling, I don't really want to put it like this, but I'm going to put it like it anyway. White trash, you know what I mean?
No, not the kid that's sitting on top of you, weighing about 300 pounds. He's only about 11 years old. Asking Daddy, you want more popcorn? And then ask him if that's a real move or if that hurts. Or every single connection that someone does, ooh. And I'm thinking to myself, great, here comes a bottle of Pepsi on top of my head soon.
No doubt, no. But UFC, so that was Saturday. Then Sunday we went what was it? No, Saturday night we went to a club. I saw Nikki Hilton, and it was actually cool, man. Down in the casinos, all the UFC fighters, man, they would walk by you, and everybody just kind of leaves them alone. You know what I mean? And you know that, I mean, say Triple H walked by or something for a wrestling fan. I mean, they would mark out. I mean, I know wrestling fans that'll go up to people when they're eating. You know what I mean? And that was back in the day where wrestling sites, I mean, really didn't even exist. I mean, you were one of the leaders, the pioneers, if you will, to bring that, and it's cool to see it back, man. You got a different design over there at WrestleSite.com, something new, you know, not the. I mean, you got different news up over there, and I know you got some exclusive stuff over there, and you also got it's like a MySpace.com thing. Can I compare it to that? Does that seem? I mean,
yeah. I mean, what I recently did is, you know, I noticed and I said to myself, okay, you know, we all did the MySpace, we all did the Facebooks, we all did the social networks, and there's not really a true wrestling network for the fans to go on there and just shoot the wind. And that's where the concept came up with WrestleCommunity.com, which again is a branch off of WrestleSite, but it's really a kind of a standalone. You just can go on there, create a profile. It's free, first of all, so you don't have to pay. And to create a profile, there's blogs. There's actually a YouTube feed that's on there as well, so you can, you know, type in a couple of tags and generate some videos. And there's email communication. There's a lot of cool stuff that we're adding on to it. It's a project and a half, but it's, you know, again, it's another reward to our visitors and to our fans that are out there that want to communicate and get a little bit more closer and interact with other, you know, fans that want to share the same interest.
Oh, no doubt about it, man. And that, I mean, that WrestleCommunity.com. No, it is a really, really cool site. I was over there the other day, and I'm going to register over there as well. So maybe I'll interact with some of you guys over there. I'm sure you got an account over there, obviously, because it's your site. But WrestleCommunity.com.
I'm the guy that's always on there.
Yeah, no doubt. So WrestleCommunity.com, and then the main site is WrestleSite.com. We'll do plugs each week. We usually wrap it up with plugs, but I want to get that out of the way. You know, let people know a little bit about you and where you're coming from and how long you've been around, which is a long time, man. When you think back,
too long sometimes.
Oh man.
It all started with WWE going on AOL. That's when Matt Rat and Vince Russo, and it's funny because, like I explained to you before, you know, I've met Vince Russo a couple of times when I used to be loss prevention officer in Saks Avenue, and actually him and Matt Rat decided to come by and just talk and shoot the wind and you know, talk about current storylines and stuff like that. So it's definitely, and I've stayed away from it for a while, maybe about 2 or 3 years. I kind of just veered off and kind of did my own thing, and now kind of get that energy. And that's when you approached to me about doing this gig, I said, oh yeah, I heard it last week. You know, all the people in the chat room and chatting it up and you know, and talking it up. I said, oh, I got to join. This sounds like a lot of fun.
Yeah, no doubt. I'm really glad to have you here, man. When I asked you last week, I was so happy, man, when I finally found somebody that follows wrestling, that watches wrestling, and that wants to talk about it on a weekly basis. And that's what everybody that listens to this show wants, you know. And I had Richard Gray here for a little bit. I know the Grays, man. The Grays are another one. We've all been around for so long, man. I mean, it's crazy when you think back, man, the years that have passed over and over. And I've had this show, man, WZR Radio. I mean, we were over on WrestleZone, and they were bought out, and somebody else took over that website, and we opened up our own thing. And man, I mean, everybody's followed us over here, which is just nuts, man. Everybody that's in there. I mean, look at all those people in the chat. WZROnline.com/chat. You can get to the live chat room by there, and we'll give out the live phone number here in just a little bit. All right, buddy.
I'm really curious to talk to people. I like that. If you're there in the chat room and you want to ask questions and have a conversation, definitely give a call, because definitely looking forward for interacting. That's, I think, me personally, that's kind of like one of my best parts is just taking phone calls and just talking to other people that have the same interest.
Oh, no doubt. And we're going to take a ton of phone calls here in hour number 2. We're actually going to get to Monday Night Raw right now. We're going to run this down real quick. Jose, you're actually going to have to do it for me because I saw the opening segment. I was so busy with news today. I have it. I have all the links to go watch it. I know where I can see it. But I saw the opening segment where Lillian Garcia opened up the show and brought out Shane McMahon. I saw bits and pieces, man. I got the you got the show file up here. I got the quick match results in there. Anything else you want to add? Let me know. I'm gonna let you do your thing here, man, and just run it down. I mean, you can rant and rave. I don't even really know what I can say, man, because I honestly didn't see the show. I do have the raw rating. I know that was a I know the raw rating did a 3.6, which is that actually just came out about a half an hour before we went live here. So a 3.6. That's the same exact number as last week's show. It did hours of 3.55 and 3.63. So that's not bad. I mean, at least it held steady, you know. And I think next week's show, by the looks of it, man, I mean, there was a lot of stuff. That team versus CM Punk and Mickie James.
It's something that I always notice with WWE writing. You know, William Regal defeated, of course, and defeated CM Punk and Mickie James. It's just, again, you know, with the loss of CM Punk recently, a couple times actually, you know, they had to, you know, throw some wind, or throw a bone, I guess you can call it, to William Regal. So obviously, to me, I'm nowhere near surprised that that's the reason why that team won.
He's just William Regal. There's something about him, man, that I just never been a fan, man. Never been a fan. I'll put it to you like that, man. Just not a fan.
Never been a fan.
Never been a fan. Not of the in-ring work. Just not of William Regal as a whole, man. You know what I mean?
Even back in the WCW days, you know, Steven Regal, I just, you know, just that doesn't click with me.
Oh, yeah, but in ECW, Stevie Richards is the man, maybe. I mean, when they had the BWO back there, and man, I mean, that was a good time. That was where Stevie Richards really shined, man. Some of you guys might remember that. Most of you probably won't. That was a long time ago. We had Phoenix defeated Candice Michelle. What's up with what is up with Candice Michelle, man? They ever since she's made a return from that injury that she had, that was actually her first Raw match in about a month and a half, I believe. I checked it earlier today. I can't remember the exact number. I have it up on the website WZROnline.com, but I think it's about a month and a half, man, since she returned.
It's been a while. It's been a while.
Yeah.
Ever since her, you know, she got injured once, and then, you know, she got injured once again, and ever since her return, I think the writers are just kind of more focused on the Melina, Beth Phoenix of the world for right now, and Candice is just, unfortunately, a jobber.
Yeah, she's kind of lost in the shuffle. Or a jobber. Yeah, that works, man. I like it. Actually, hey, let me get a cheap plug right here. Speaking of Candice Michelle, she worked a house show a couple weeks back, and fans sent me some pictures. I put them up on the WrestlingAnswer.com/specials. You can get over there. Tell you what, man, she's packed on a few pounds.
A little bit. I think, and that could also relate to the way she's being pushed. I mean, you know, following WWE for so long, they are highly on people that take care of themselves and take care of, you know, or do what they can do with the business. And, you know, it's funny because I saw those pictures and I said, wow, you know, and it's amazing. And then just looking at her yesterday and just kind of looking at her figure, no pun intended, of course, I noticed that there is definitely a lot difference of her body than when she was, you know, a while ago.
I mean, like as in flabbiness, like a lot of flab. But you know what? I'll give her the benefit of the doubt, and I'll say that she was out with an injury, so maybe she wasn't able to rehab as good as she should have been able to, if that makes sense. You know what I'm saying? Maybe she wasn't able to get in the gym and do the things that she used to be able to do, you know, before she suffered that injury. And maybe it's just going to take her a couple weeks or a month or two or however long it'll take her to get her figure back. You know what I'm saying? So I'll give her the benefit of the doubt on that one. What Kane and Mike Knox, man, what do you think about this Mike Knox guy? I mean, this is another guy that
Man, they tried. Remember when they first brought ECW back, and they had this guy and Kelly's expose they had, and he was like a stalker. Well, they're giving him another chance now. I mean, this guy's been attacking who is it, Rey Mysterio over the past few weeks.
Smaller than him, which is like Evan Bourne and Ray.
Yeah, poor Ray, man. I mean, Ray always gets thrown to these big guys. You know what I mean? The poor guy, man. But you got to find actually he had plans. What's that?
Like I say, is Mike Knox equals Sminsky. That's
right.
all I gotta say.
Yeah. I mean, you know what I'm thinking? I'm thinking they're gonna try to give this guy another push. They obviously are right now, and then it's just gonna flop again. I mean, after this storyline is over with Mysterio, you know, I mean, that may we'll see what they do with Knox next, man. I mean, he's a guy that I don't know. It must be the size, man. It must be the size.
Oh, it's Vince. It's Vince Vince love like different people, the great Khali's of the world and Andre the Giants of the world, Big Show's of the world.
Doesn't care if they can work for a lick. If
he doesn't care if their mic doesn't work. They just go out and brutalize. And the funny thing about it is brutalize smaller people, which is always a thing from Vince. The King Kong Bundy days to the mini wrestlers and WrestleMania, body slamming, and he always likes that big wrestler destroying small wrestler because me, big giant, is humongous and I can destroy the world. And so, they go into
hey man, listen, it's your debut show, right? And
right.
THQ, they hook us up, man. Every year they send us like SmackDown versus Raw 2008, 2007. I think they had a 2007. I'm not sure, but anyways, they sent us a box of SmackDown versus Raw 2009 games. Sent us a bunch of them. We've been giving them away the past few weeks on WZR. Actually, the past few months on WZR Radio, and I think we should do one tonight.
You know what? I think we should. And if your name is a guest, you don't work. It don't work that way.
Yeah, no. Well, they're gonna have to call up anyway, so we'll be able to tell when they call. But how about a PlayStation 2? Does that sound good, man? I think a PlayStation. Cause a lot of people got PS2s, right?
I would. Yeah, it's still one of the number one systems in its generation. I would think,
Oh, no doubt. So, I mean, how do you want to do it? I mean, usually we just take random callers. I guess we'll do it that way tonight. If you guys, if anybody wants a PlayStation 2, we'll take the first caller. I know you guys are going to be put in a queue. So, if you have a PlayStation 2.
How about if we do like the fourth one? So this way we kind of mix it up, because I think there's...
Yeah, but what if the fourth caller doesn't have what if he doesn't have a PS2? Then we go to the next one?
Then they need to have one then.
Oh, yeah, because the guys that have already called up, they'll be in there. Yeah, you're right. How about we do we'll do the sixth caller. I like that.
There you go. All right.
Because we already got a couple on.
And to qualify, obviously, you would have to have the PS2.
Yes, you would have to have a PlayStation 2 if you want a game for the
right. I mean, unless you want a game and just put it on the wall or something like that. To each their own.
All right. So we'll do that. We'll take the sixth caller. I'm going to take phone calls in hour number 2. So call up right now. We'll keep you guys on the line. And in hour number 2, we'll give this thing away. Just stay on the line if you want it, and if you're that lucky caller, then you'll get it, and I'll mail it out tomorrow. All right. So some notes from last night's Raw. Let's just wrap it up real quick. We had Ric Flair. They announced he's going to be back next week, at least for maybe a one-time deal, one-time shot. I'm not sure how long they're going to go. I didn't really see Raw. I haven't heard anything about it today. I mean, I've just been trying to get caught up all day, nonetheless. But it's going to be his first appearance on WWE TV since what? I believe. Since he requested the release after WrestleMania, and then he appeared in June. Remember when they did the McMahon's $1 Million Mania thing?
That's right. Yep. Mm-hmm.
He was a part of that. He did a one-time shot on that. But that's the last time that we've seen Flair. Also, they announced a couple matches for No Way Out. We're going to have JBL is going to face Shawn Michaels. Is that right? And if Michaels wins, he's free from being employed under JBL. And if Michaels loses, he is going to be kept under contract by JBL for life. Is that correct?
That's correct. So we all know who is going to win that one.
No doubt. And then that'll lead to a match between those two, likely at WrestleMania. I think that's what we had planned out anyway with JBL versus Shawn. I think that's the angle that they're going to go, and it would make sense for Shawn to win that match and then go on to face JBL at Mania, because that'd be the next pay-per-view after No Way Out. Shane McMahon, we also talked about this. Shane McMahon going to face Randy Orton in a no-holds-barred match. Like we said earlier, I think that's going to be an awesome match. I mean, you know Shane. Shane on pay-per-view is a nut, you know?
He's going to put a show. He's definitely going to put a show. There's no doubt about that.
Yeah, I'd expect, usually when it's on pay-per-view, man, usually Shane does something crazy, man. Something nuts, you know what I'm saying? There'll be that big spot at the end of the match. It always happens, man. So it'll be interesting to see how they continue to build that match next week on Raw with 1 week until the pay-per-view. Speaking of No Way Out, the official theme song that they announced last night on Raw, I didn't see it, but I heard it. It was Hunt You Down by the band Saliva. You a big fan of Saliva?
You want to hear something funny? I interviewed the drummer back in the days when WWF had the restaurant, WWF New York in Manhattan, and this is the first time that they were brought aboard. I knew someone from Def Jam Records, actually, and he was actually dealing with them at that time, and I interviewed the drummer, which is actually pretty cool because he's actually my first celebrity that I ever interviewed. The second one was actually The Rock at TRL, which is actually his father is going to be here, and it's going to get played out pretty quick.
Yeah, and I don't think, I mean, from what I've been told, Rick doesn't feel that Reed is ready, and he's not. He's really not. I mean, I watched a YouTube video of his match a couple weeks back, and he's not ready to be called up to the big time. You know, whether it be WWE or TNA, not even FCW, right? I know FCW is a training center, and I'm sure he'll eventually wind up there. I mean, Rick is still on really, really good terms with Vince. They still talk. And obviously by Rick appearing at Raw next week. So, I mean, there's definitely the possibility. It's probably more likely at this point that Reed would eventually wind up in WWE, but it's not going to be until, I mean, he's obviously going to take his father's advice coming from Rick's background, obviously, you know what I mean? But I would expect him in WWE at some point. I mean, he just wrestled his first match, I mean, 2 months ago, less than 2 months ago, 3 months ago, somewhere around there. Maybe it was longer. I'm usually off on times, but it wasn't long ago, just a couple months ago, you know what I mean? So he's definitely not ready. But nonetheless, the State Fair thing where this supposed match was supposed to happen. Brooke was going to be there, and she's got that VH1 reality series there, and they were going to record some stuff for that, and that's, I guess, one of the gossip websites, or actually it was the Tampa newspaper, and then the gossip websites picked it up, but they blew it out of proportion and said that it was going to be Reed Flair versus Brooke Hogan in a one-on-one match, and that is absolutely not the case.
It's a rumor that started by Hogan.
Yeah, no doubt. What else? 8 o'clock. It is 8 o'clock on the dot on the live show. We are going to take a quick commercial break, and then we'll come back after this and run down what? Well, actually, we got to do the giveaway. I know we got. I can see them in the chat room now. We've got a ton of callers on hold. You guys can get in the chat room. WZROnline.com/chat. You're listening to WZR Radio here on WZROnline.com with Ryan Clark and Jose Rivera. We'll be back right after this. And we're back, WZR Radio, for hour number 2 from 8 to 9 Eastern Time here on WZROnline.com. I am, as always, Ryan Clark. I still got Jose Rivera with me. Jose, still with me, bro?
I'm here.
Good to hear. Good to hear. I got all cleaned up during the break, man. I had to pee so bad, man, going into that break. Good God, man. Good God. But we're good to go now. All right, we got let's see here. Let's get well, you want to take some phone calls? I know you wanted to take live phone calls, and then I got some news and rumors to go to. You know what though? We were kind of talking during the commercial break, and I don't know if that 6-caller thing is going to work, man.
You know, it's funny. You said I was thinking the same thing. That's just kind of strange, actually.
Well, it's like 6-caller. I think the people can see in the chat room, like, if they're number 6. So if they're not number 6, they can just hang up. You know what I mean?
That is true. Then we won't never get to number 6, I guess, huh?
Yeah. So do you got a question? Did you come up with something? You got anything, man? Anything? Just
all right. Here, I got one because I was there. All right.
Okay. All right.
I just need to know the year The Undertaker debuted in the WWE. Not as Mark Calloway or Mark Callis in WCW as the Skyscrapers with Dan Spivey. Okay, I'm really dating myself. But anyway, the year that Undertaker debuted in the WWE.
Okay. Sounds like an easy Google search, but whatever, that works.
Come on, wait a few seconds. I was going to really make it difficult and tell me what city it was as well, but I don't know if, people will know that quick, but I mean,
all right, so if you want a free SmackDown versus Raw 2009 video game, you got to have a PlayStation 2. You can call us up right now, and you got to give us the year that the Undertaker debuted in WWE. It's such an easy.
And the city.
Look at everybody in the chat. They already got it.
Yeah, and so you know what? We'll do year and the city in which he debuted.
Dang, I like it. The year and the city. So you got to come up with both the year and they got to make it a little bit harder. We should even do something else. The year, the city, and the time of the match. No, I'm just playing. We don't have to go.
Who's his opponents?
Yeah, right. Yeah, we could do who's the opponent. There you go. Let's do it. Ready?
I don't know it off the top of my head though.
Shoot. All right. Well, we'll just go with the year and the city that the Undertaker made his debut in WWE. Hey, let's take a live phone call right now, I believe. Caller, you are live on WZR Radio. Legend Killer from the chat room. What's up, man?
What's good, man? What's good?
Not a whole lot, man. What do you? How's my boy Jose doing? All right?
He's doing good, man. I'll give it to him. I was wondering who that was. I was wondering where's Matt Boone at.
Matty B, me and Matty B, we spent the weekend in Las Vegas, and he's gonna come back, man. Yeah, he's gonna come back on he'll be back for UFC segments when we do 3-hour shows. Basically, we're I don't know if that's the case. I can't confirm that, but that's what he was under the impression, that the deal was not signed yet, and that was why he hadn't debuted. But nonetheless, I do expect him to be in WWE. I mean, obviously he's not with TNA, and I believe, my feeling is now that upon leaving TNA, Christian felt to himself, hey, I need some time off. Just give me a couple months before I go on the road full-time with WWE. That means working house shows. That means working SmackDown every week, pay-per-views, overseas tours. Let me have a few months, and then I will come and debut. Whether that is before WrestleMania or after WrestleMania, I would say before, but it's possible it could be after. I just think he feels that, he needs some time, but I don't believe that the deal has been officially signed. No ink has been placed on the dotted lines just yet, and that may just be because Christian wants some time off after leaving TNA. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and it's funny because it's these guys really. I mean, if you're a WWE talent compared to a TNA talent, I mean, these guys are on the road over 200 days, a year. So it clearly does not surprise me if Christian is going in with a soft approach on, taking some time with his family, just kind of refocusing his attention, his personal stuff, because, obviously wrestlers can only wrestle for so long, and then you got to endeavor into something else. Victoria, Trish is perfect examples of going into their own type of businesses.
You just bring up Trish. That's another one. I don't mean to get off topic, but Trish is another one that a WrestleMania match from the person that I talked to that emailed me back sometime when I was in Vegas. Trish at Mania looks very, very, very likely. So could be Trish and Beth Phoenix from what I'm told, but once again I don't have that confirmed either.
Yeah, so. I'm kind of on the edge with that one, is just because what is that going to do for Beth? I can
remember this. It's on Mania though. It's WrestleMania.
Yeah, I know, but she's not a full-time talent. Trish. I mean, don't get me wrong. She has done wonders for the divas in this industry. Period. But to have Trish come in and take on Beth at WrestleMania, that I would rather see Trish teaming up with a mystery partner and then take on Santino and Beth Phoenix. Then that develops into something. Then you can use an angle where Santino and the way he is, you're nothing, and just completely disses Trish, and then Trish goes out and says, you know what? How about if I challenge you at WrestleMania? I'm gonna find somebody, and whoever that is, I don't know. You can start guessing if you like, but I think that build-up would mean something because there's comedy behind it. Because anything that deals with Santino is comedy, and not only that, but it doesn't also take away from Beth, because then you can have Trish pin Santino, even though technically I know.
Here's my feeling on that. If you that would be I know where you're coming from, and that would make perfect sense to have like a mixed tag team match on the pay-per-view. But I think they feel that they need like a big time divas match, right? So that would be your big time divas match would be Trish versus Beth, and then maybe obviously you're going to have other divas that are going to get spots on WrestleMania as well. Maybe you could do a mixed tag, maybe like a six man and woman mixed tag. You know what I mean? At some other point, but I think they're going to want to do one-on-one match for the divas. You know what I mean? At least one mega divas match, and then maybe a mixed tag team match, maybe somewhere else on the card. Yeah.
It makes sense. You're right. They definitely have to. Don't forget. We're completely forgetting about. There's two champions that we haven't even mentioned. Of course, is Melina and was it from Maria? Yeah. So. You have those two talents that are, that would be nice, maybe champion versus champion, and for a non-title, of course. That can be a big build-up. It's just, I don't know, for the creative standpoint, I would aim more towards a mix with Trish, compared to just a singles match. But you know what? This is the lovely thing about it. We predict, and let's see what happens in the next few weeks. I'm sure we'll start getting to know the answer.
Wow, like we said earlier, man, it's a good time to be a wrestling fan, man, with WrestleMania coming up. Hey, I got a guy who's been holding on the line here, TNA Axel Ryan from the live chat room, man. I apologize for that. I know you've been waiting for a second. What's on your mind, man?
I liked the tag match last night with Kofi and Ray versus Mike Knox and Kane. I thought that Mike Knox and Kane looked like a decent tag. Do you think we'll ever see him tag again?
You're gonna have to answer that one, Jose. I didn't see it.
It's you got two big guys. I just don't see Kane tagging up with anyone. It looks like it's funny because if you look at the history of Kane and his tag team partner, it would be confusing. You're right, it would be confusing. But so is Matt Hardy knocking his brother out in the head with a chair. Oh,
no doubt. Hey, we got a guest number 254 from the chat room here live on WZR Radio. What's your register username, man?
I will do that. Thank you.
All right. You can
okay, good.
All right, no doubt. What's on your mind, man?
The new show, Superstars. Do you have any idea whether that's just going to be like a replay of all three shows, or it's going to be an actual show, like a 1-hour show, like ECW?
That's a good question, man. That's a good question. I originally heard that it was going to be a clip show, okay? And then I heard that they were going to tape something before Raw. And now the last I've heard is it's going to be another clip show. So we're kind of in the middle right there, man. Have you heard anything, Jose? I know you're up there closer to production than I am, but they've got AM Raw, but that's just a recap of Raw. I believe Superstars will be more of a clip show for all three brands, Raw, SmackDown, and ECW. Have you heard anything, man?
The last I heard from the show was almost going to be the same concept as, I don't know if you guys remember, but WWE Live, WWE Experience. These are concepts based on internet questions and so on and so forth. It's not going to be that way, but it's going to be a clip show talking about the events, or the last I heard was going to be a clip show about the current events in the WWE pay-per-view, SmackDown, Raw, and ECW.
Yeah, that's the last that I've heard, and I heard that about 2 weeks ago through email. So I don't really have any more information on that. Guys, if you want to get to the live chat room, it's WZROnline.com/chat. The official website of WZR Radio is WZROnline.com. And I got to tell you, man, Jose, the people in the chat room, I'll tell you what, man, it's tough to impress these people, all right, man? I mean, I brought, they took to Richard Gray. They liked Richard Gray. They hated Matt Boone. I think they like me. I believe they like me. Otherwise, they wouldn't be here each week. But you're doing yourself good tonight, man. Good. I mean, the people in here love you, man. On your debut show here, they like you, man.
Appreciate it. I mean, it's fun. It's fun. I mean, when you have opportunity to sit here and talk wrestling and have people listen and conversate, and that's again. One of the big things that I like about listening to or talking to other people, it's amazing and it's fun and like I said, this is definitely I like it a lot.
Well, I mean, with Matt Boone, I really wasn't able to comment a lot on wrestling, and I mean tonight we've had some really really good discussion, and I called you last week and we talked for about 5 minutes. First time that I've ever talked to you, man. Never talked to you on the telephone. Never met you.
We've known each other for a while.
For a long time, and I have never ever. I've never seen you. I've never talked to you. You know what I mean? We talked for about 5 minutes last week, and then I called you again today, but we talked for about 10 minutes before the show went live, man, and that's it, man. And then we came on here live, and we said, man, we'll just see how it goes. You know what I mean? They can't, if it's bad, it's bad. If it's not bad, whatever, man. Hey, we have a live caller from New York, no doubt. What's on your mind? Hello.
Hello.
Hello. What's on your mind, man? Yes. No. Okay. All right, guys. If you want to call out live, you can do so right now at 724-444-7444. Enter the call ID number 30273, followed by the pound key. When I answer the call, speak, baby, speak. All right, let's take another live call. Caller, you are live on WZR Radio. What's on your mind?
Hey, man, actually, I had a couple of questions.
Is this Legend Killer again?
Yeah, man, last time I'm going to call you now. I ain't going to bother you no more after this.
Oh, it's all good, man. What do you got? Hey, man, if you got good questions, call all night long.
Yeah. I've heard speculation. I'm not 100% on this whole thing. What happened to the push that D. Brian Kendrick was getting? Because he was going over all kinds of good stars like Jeff Hardy, and he was in a scramble match, and then now he can't seem to beat Carlito. So
I've got an exclusive on that for you. Kendrick has heat with management these days. The word that was described to me, or the words that were described to me, were that he has a hard time listening to management. Basically in the afternoon hours prior to SmackDown going live on Tuesdays, they go and they work in the ring with the agents, and the agents script out the matches during the afternoon hours, before the crowd gets in there, and right. Kendrick seems to have a problem with at least one agent where he has a hard time. You got to remember, Kendrick is the guy that came from Ring of Honor, all right, and he was odd. But they've offered him a spot. They like governors, man. People, the creative team likes governors, man. They've got Daphne in there right now playing the role of Sarah Palin. I guess they kind of feel that maybe that angle's run its course, and it has, man. I mean, that was brutal. Actually, once again, brutal's not the word for it. You know what I mean? Once again, but
I just don't understand their. I mean, I'm not a big TNA fan. I mean, just the creative aspect of it.
Well, you know they're gonna. Well, see, I'm a big TNA. Like I'm. For some time there, not in recent weeks, because I got to give it to WWE. Over the last month or two, they've got me rejuvenated. Can I say they've got me reinterested in the product, which is a good thing, because I'm not an easy guy to impress when it comes to wrestling. You know, I still watch it. I love to watch it. I love Raw every week. I got to be honest, I don't catch SmackDown all the time, just because it's on a Friday night, but. It's just, I mean, they've got me interested. But TNA had my vote over WWE for quite some time, man. And I think, I think they've got something going here with the Main Event Mafia thing. With Governor Rod, he's going to be, he'll probably play the same role as Sarah Palin, Daphne, whatever you want to call her there. They'll have them come in with the beautiful people, and they'll do the stupid backstage skits that they've done for what seems like years now over on Impact. But, what do you think, man? I mean, obviously, he's not going to accept the offer. Actually, maybe this guy will, man. This guy seems like a nut job, man. He doesn't? He seems like a weirdo.
I like to call it different.
Yeah, a little bit different.
A little different. It's another guerrilla marketing ploy saying, hey, someone did something wrong. If it's Pac-Man or Palin, we want to go out and attack and try to grab that some of that national attention, and that's where I sit there and question some of that stuff. I maybe because I got that old school, booking in my head saying, but to me it feels desperate that TNA has to go out and offer a governor that you try to sell, the current president's seat. I'm not trying to get all political on you guys, but it's just I kind of find it a little tasteless,
Yeah, but you know what? You know how it is when it comes to wrestling, man. Any media,
a lot of it is tasteless.
You know what I mean, though. But any media is good media. You know what? I'm not the Benoit thing, but when if they can get TNA wrestling in say like an Associated Press article, if they can just get a mention in that article, and then because it's on the AP Newswire, it would go up on thousands of websites across the internet. I mean, news websites. You know what I mean? So to get national exposure, and I think if they go after a guy, even just calling him out, that some media outlets are going to pick that up. Just that they've issued a challenge for him to come in. Some media. So you've already accomplished your goal by at least having a few media stations pick it up. You know what I mean? And then if he actually does come in.
I spoke to a writer, and I spoke to him and said, this was when TNA invited Palin to join TNA, and he just laughed, and it's not a laughter of, just exactly how you explained to me. It's a laughter of who is TNA and who cares about TNA, and then that mentality going in rather than saying, oh, look, we're grabbing a legend or we're grabbing a movie star, we're grabbing Arnold, we're grabbing, someone that has a little bit more of a positive twist to it to have some sort of positive end story to it. Here you are going out for a guy that, it just, as a fan of wrestling, I hear you. I'm completely up to, hey, whatever you can grab media attention, grab it. But in their state, TNA is still small. They're still trying to grow. It seems desperate. It's like if I'm a New York Yankee fan and I used to watch Raw back in the Attitude days, and I don't watch it anymore because it's too much of a storyline, and I'm picking up my Wall Street Journal, and I have all this money in the world that I can spend on, and I'm reading a little snippet article about TNA inviting. I'm going to laugh. I'm going to be like, who is this TNA? And what makes you think I'm going to start watching your show because you bring, you know what I'm saying? I mean, It's a short.
You know what? You read it. You read it, right? So if you read the article and then you saw TNA Wrestling, bang, goal accomplished for TNA. I know it's negative press, but it's like, bang, if we get our goal has been met, right? We got the media attention that we wanted. Nonetheless, it's definitely negative media, especially calling out some guy that was thrown out of office as the governor of Illinois. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
but
I completely understand. I mean,
I know where you're coming from.
Guerrilla marketing, you're going out and you're trying to bring as much noise as you can. If you got to freaking, contact MC Hammer, just whomever, anyone, any convicted, DMX, what's next? Is they going to invite him to the show? I mean,
yeah, right.
But I know what you mean, though, and I hear you. I'm thinking more of a long term. I'm thinking creatively,
Oh, no,
am I going to really contact someone like that?
Exactly, man. And then
I'll contact the Olympic dude.
Yeah, Michael Phelps. Michael Phelps. Oh man,
I'll contact him. I won't contact someone that's convinced.
Oh, that's terrible, man. What's he hitting? He's hitting like a bong or something, man. They got a picture
and he admitted it.
Oh man, that's crazy. He's actually, I just saw on the news tonight. They actually opened a criminal investigation into that, and they may press charges. That was on the 5 o'clock news here that I watched earlier.
Yeah, I was reading that actually on Fox News.
Hey, let's do a couple more news bits here. We only got about 4 minutes, and then we got to do plugs and get out of here. But a couple WrestleMania notes here, guys. Mickey Rourke. Basically, here's what I've been told. The plan was to have Mickey come in. They wanted him to wrestle a match. It was going to be Mickey Rourke versus Chris Jericho. Mickey agreed to it. Nothing was ever signed. Mickey's agents then came to him, people around Mickey, and said, hey, man, you can't do this. You want to talk about media, right? Wrestling, bad media. Mm-hmm. Wrestling would give him this, it's the same thing that we were just talking about. They put some words in his ear and said, hey, man, you're not going to get an Oscar if you go out and do this. You're going to make yourself look like a freaking joke if you do this, man. You're only going to, the whole world, is not based around wrestling fans. There's a lot more, people that don't watch, you know what I mean? So his mind was changed and plans were changed, and there will be no more Mickey Rourke versus Chris Jericho at Mania. Vince McMahon came out and countered that because there were reports and said that Mickey Rourke would be at WrestleMania, as to not make him or WWE look bad because they had just done the angle the night before on Raw with Jericho, and they did the Larry King thing and this and that. Vince McMahon came out and said that he would be at WrestleMania. He will be a guest at WrestleMania. The plans to have a match are completely off. That is done, and Mickey Rourke will not be in the ring at WrestleMania. But he will be there as a guest unless somebody talks him out of that as well. But he was originally set to wrestle Jericho at Mania. Real quick here, man, another Mania note, AC/DC. They are not going to be performing at WrestleMania. They're going to be on a tour of Europe, I believe.
Spain. They're going to be in Spain April 4th.
April 4th, no doubt. Wait, they're going to be where?
In Spain, I thought I saw.
Oh, in Spain, yeah, in Spain. I thought you said Mania. I said no. But AC/DC, they're not going to be there live. They are going to use the theme song for Mania. I'm not exactly sure which song they're going to use just yet, but I'm sure we'll hear it in the next couple of weeks here. Right after No Way Out. Usually they start doing the major build to WrestleMania. So AC/DC, that'll be the main theme, but nonetheless, they are not going to be at WrestleMania live. They won't do a live show or anything like that. One more thing here, Jose. Against all odds this Sunday, here's what we got so far. The main event is Sting versus Brother Ray versus Kurt Angle versus Brother Devon. It's going to be Beer Money Inc. versus Jay Lethal and Consequences Creed. That's going to be for the TNA World Tag Team titles. We're going to have knockout